You're listening to the Spandex Power Armor Podcast. As if 2020 couldn't get any worse.
Oh man, we're back.
Wait, we're what?
The podcast exists once more. It rises from its grave like a sorcerer returned by some fell spell. We're back.
Were we ever gone? It's only been like what? Oh, 3 years. What?
Off by a couple of months, but yeah, pretty much 3 years in October.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get my watch out and say 2 years, 10 months, number of milliseconds.
You've got the nanoseconds and attoseconds. Well, whatever method you measured time in, be it stars, souls, or seconds, we're here, and we're hopefully not going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, it's 2020. Anything could happen at this point.
We're also on the border of the Leicester exclusion zone, so we definitely aren't going anywhere. Lockdown time, people.
Yeah. I mean, at least I know what it's like to be a hermit.
Yeah. Anyway.
Not sure if I like it, but I know.
Look, we all know. We have massively enlarged beards, I've gained the weight of a small child, and I should probably start assembling a shed to live in. Anyway, we are back, and we just want to talk a little about why things ended after we did the X8 special, and why we're back now.
So basically what happened is our fortress got raided by a group of teenagers in tight, brightly coloured clothes, and we had a bit of a fight, and then we got banished to some nether realm. But it's time for season 2, baby. But no, seriously, life happened. To misquote Jeff Goldblum, life gets in the way.
Yeah, pretty much. I was in uni at the time, and it was just a bit of a pain, really, because you have to juggle so much. And so I think, why not do it this time when I'm currently working in a full-time job? And trying to juggle this and a relationship and gaming, yeah, it's going to be great. I see absolutely zero pressure in this bad boy.
Did you just start this to flex on me like that?
Yeah, I'm flexing on how much more misery I have.
Yeah. So yeah, no, with uni being as it is, it was just quite a lot. Yeah, we all had different things going on in our lives, and unfortunately the podcast kind of fell by the wayside, and unfortunately I don't think we ever informed anyone that the last episode was our last episode before we fell into some kind of John Tronian hiatus.
It seemed to go out with a whimper. But what I'm the least proud of is that I just stopped getting into Toku after that. I just didn't really have much of a motivation, and I'm kind of kicking myself now, because I ignored Build. I saw a bit with you, maybe a bit of GO, but otherwise I'm just like, okay, what's all this stuff? What's with all these new riders? What the hell is Akira Major?
Yeah, I didn't fall by the wayside so much, but I definitely was not as invested as I had previously been, but that's the same for everything in my life for the last couple of years. Like I said, life gets in the way, things happen, you have to kind of cut off the fat, but we're back. We've both been catching up with Zero-One. Whether that's a good or a bad thing remains to be seen, but we're catching up.
How far in are you?
Like I said, what? Still single digits. I think I'm on episode 8. I don't know. I'm on the doctor, the hospital bit.
Oh, right. I'm on 12. People of the internet, please don't spoil this for us. Though by the time this releases, I should have binged all of it, or as much as possible.
Show off.
I think stuff it. For the first part of this podcast, let's talk about Zero-One, because it's the first rider thing I'm getting back into.
Zero-One.
Very catchy intro, isn't it?
Oh, it hits you like a sack of bricks. It is. I've learned to love it. I don't know if it's a good way to do an intro for a song. I don't think so, but I have no musical theory whatsoever. I still kind of like Numa Numa unironically.
Well, this is the Reiwa era. Things are a lot more different, a little more gimmicky. Frankly, so far in the series, For me, it's a mixed bag. It's stuff that I really wanted for a long time, and also combined with gimmicks that I don't really care about. Like the transformation gimmicks, kinda silly. I mean, I love the effects in them. I love the way Vulcan transforms by punching the bullet. I mean, that's the coolest thing.
You mean fisting the bullet?
Cheeky.
That's right, I call punching fisting now. No one wants to get into a fight with me anymore.
That's actually a way to avoid fights on the internet. If someone invites you in real life to a brawl, you describe punching as fisting, and they will just say no. It's unless they're like Gachimuchi stars, then it's going to get nasty.
Hey, look, I would never ever fight the king, Billy Harrington.
Oh no, he's passed on.
He's in the big gym in the sky now.
Yeah.
We'll be with you soon, Anarchy. Well,
that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see some sort of Gachimuchi reference in some sort of adult taku. Maybe if there was...
Oh, I thought you meant when you die.
When I die...
Like you go through the pearly gates and Billy Harrington is just there to greet you.
Oh yeah, you know what he'll say? Leather club's down the road. And that's how my jaunt in the afterlife begins. Anyway, Zero-One. I have a lot to say about it.
I'm going to disagree with you on the whole transformation gimmick thing. I don't mind it. The props look a bit silly, but the idea behind them being like, what are they? They're meant to be like special keycard things, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all. They would probably look better if they were more, decade kind of cards.
Yeah, it's the fact that
being actual cards.
The armor pieces generated are physical things. You know how Zero-One has this Gavan-style stuff, so it's beamed down from a satellite? Yeah. And so it just feels like, okay, we have to watch things awkwardly interact with CGI robots. You don't get any real action.
My man, have you not gotten used to the weird CGI robots? I mean, haven't they been using them since, like, Hibiki?
Well, I just close my eyes and scream and say, Mom, take the robots away. I don't want to see the CGI. No, I want to see a man in a spandex suit. And that's why I qualify for this podcast, a little bit of insanity.
I see what you mean about the CGI doodads. I don't think there's... Personally, I wouldn't do them, but I like Showa stuff, so there's a lot I wouldn't do. There's not really much of a... Look, I can't help it if I'm a boomer at heart, okay?
Rotoscoping only.
Bad rotoscoping only. I really like the physical armor bits though, because when he changes forms, they shift around.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like when he turns into like his shark form, his faceplate splits in half and then kind of goes on his lower jaw.
I don't get why the grasshopper
really cool.
part's the main form, and it's like the basis for all the other forms. It just makes me think, okay, this is kind of weird.
I think it's to create some kind of consistent artistic through line, but you're absolutely right, because he does have an undersuit on. He has that black, kind of slightly shiny suit.
Oh,
the grasshopper bits come on too. You would expect then that the grasshopper bits could come off, and then the shark or the tiger or the hawk bits can go on. It doesn't necessarily make sense, but I'm pretty sure it's just to have a consistent aesthetic. Although there's not much that kind of Dayglow green can go with.
As a character, I do quite like Aruto Hiden. Like, it's growing on me. I initially found his voice annoying, and the whole comedy gimmick just really painful. Maybe it's because I'm, a filthy Westerner, and I'm not a 7-year-old Japanese boy. That's why the belt won't fit on me.
7-year-old Japanese boys on the inside?
Yes, that'll make the resulting afterlife visit to Billy Harrington a bit more confusing, but hey... I'm kind of digging it. I'm liking his character, how there's the whole relationship with the humor gears and stuff. I'm digging it. The story itself, because I want to talk about the story. I mean, I was initially
I want to complain about Aruto first.
Oh, very well.
I completely agree. I hated Aruto to begin with. I absolutely despised him in the first episode. he wasn't particularly bad. I think when a new Rider series comes along, and it's mostly just Rider, because with the new Ultras and new Rangers, I'm usually a lot more forgiving. With new Riders, I will quite often just hate them to begin with, and this is true for everything, like the design and everything. And then I will come back around. Like, remember X-Aid? I was
Oh,
all set to
man.
despise.
That was a
I
real change of
hated
opinion.
that. Oh, dude, no, X-Aid is fantastic. If anyone hasn't heard the X-Aid special we did, I adore X-Aid now. I love it.
Oh, it's a quality series.
Aruto's definitely grown on me now, but I do not care for his gimmick. Maybe it's better if you're Japanese and you understand, because I'm like 100% certain that what has been subtitled for us as his quote unquote jokes are not exactly word for word what he's saying, because it seems to be quite a lot of wordplay, and I'm not sure that translates fully.
Overtime tried their best to localize. You can find it in the way they name the enemy faction in the first couple of episodes, and they change it back to the Japanese, and they try it with a few other things. So I think they gave a different name to the transformation device that the Monster of the Week uses, and it's okay they're trying, but for proper nouns like that, I think it's best to leave them be. Otherwise, it's going to be a repeat of the Gaim subs. Who was it who did that again? Which group was that?
Oh, was it Acer?
It was Acer, wasn't it? Yeah.
The whole Ornak Gridon thing.
Man. They tried. I appreciate how they tried, but it's just a little too much localization.
True, there's a line that shouldn't be crossed, and I agree proper nouns should be kept. Like, attack names, depends if... But people names, transformation names, faction names, I'm down to clown with keeping them the same. It's just... I was thinking about this the other day, actually, how I would personally change Aruto's whole kind of gimmick. Do you remember the old man, the Blue Ranger, Norsan from Kyoryuja?
Oh, yes, the one with the very curly hair.
Change Aruto's just painfully unfunny jokes to groan-inducing old man jokes.
Oh, I would love some punnage. I have a counterpoint, though. I was thinking maybe a Spider-Man-style quipper. Or you could even cite Kamen Rider Stronger for these examples. So you'd have someone who makes, cutting one-liners, someone that has like a childish sense to it. Because Naruto is kind of childish, but I just need something. I don't really care much for the over-the-top. I don't really know Japanese comedy well enough. I can't quite figure it out. This is more a me limitation.
Yeah, I find Japanese comedy to fall into just one of two camps. It is quite similar to English comedy in this way, in that it's either quite dry and withheld and very kind of, wry. On the other hand, it can also be just the wackiest, goofiest, quite embarrassing at times kind of thing. And there seems to be no kind of middle ground with it.
That being said, I now want them in a sort of 24-hour tag scenario. I want that style of slapstick where it just gets a little bit too crazy. I do quite like the slapstick. Slapstick tends to be without the need for translation, so I guess that's why I kind of liked it in double and O's. It was very straightforward, but when they try and make it so very Japanese, you can tell they have no interest in trying it out on other markets unless it's neighboring Asian countries. This stuff just doesn't really settle in the West.
See, I'm down with Japanese slapstick to a point. It is when everyone kind of falls down because of the funny joke.
Oh, right.
That I start. That's especially in live action. That's where I draw the line. Like, no, can we not do that?
Okay,
it's not funny in anime, it's not funny in real life.
I now want your idea for them doing cringy old man jokes, like really bad puns, and instead of people falling down from how funny it is, like some of them just vomit from how bad it was. Like the characters just vomit on each other regardless of scenario, and they're just like, no, that was so bad. And it's used as a plot point where he gives the villain cancer with a very bad pun.
That would solve a lot of problems very, very quickly. One thing I'm a bit on the fence about with Zero-One at the moment, and I don't know if it gets brought up later on, is that Naruto is, at least at the point where I'm at in the series now, that's what I'm looking for. Complacent?
Yeah,
With
complacent.
slavery.
Yeah, oh, it does touch on it.
Complicit. Complicit, is that a word?
Complicit, yeah, going along with it. We are not
There
very
we go.
good at the
Complicit
English
with
language.
slavery. What's English?
It does get like that. So I'm currently at episode 12. There's a detective one. And I thought what they do is...
Hang on. Would you say he's a robot detective?
It literally is a humor gear, so your reference to an old Tokusatsu, just, nah. Hang your head in shame. And unfortunately, he doesn't look like an old school robot, but somehow wear a massive wig.
Does he transform by taking his shirt off and punching people real hard?
That's the best description of a transformation. I just want that to be the manliest character.
Oh man, have you watched any of Robot Detective yet?
I haven't, no. I know it's on the Toei channel, but I've just been getting drunk and watching some like Robot 8chan because it looks silly.
What the hell, dude?
What? It's kind of cute and funny, and one of them's like a robot looking
I'm
like
sorry,
a telephone box.
Did you say cute and funny?
Yeah.
When we watched the first episode together, you were right there with me, just completely horrified by what we were watching. And now you come back with me. You come back to me and you're saying it's cute and funny.
Well, I was sober when we watched that.
What the hell is wrong with you, boy?
The liver can do amazing things, and one thing it does is bring a series like that into terrifying reality. But when you're a little buzzed, it's cutesy, and every episode, little Hachan Robo is just trying to avoid getting dismantled because he is casually ignoring the laws of robotics and stuff. Actually, this ties in really nicely with what I was going to mention. So I was thinking that Zero-One would have gone in one of two directions. The first one being that they immediately go in hard with the ethical side of things, which obviously would not be something they do because that isn't really conducive to an action series. And what the other one I was thinking they'd do is they would ignore it completely. They would play it straight-faced. It's like, oh yeah, one of our slaves has turned into a bad guy again, let's get him. But no, it's turning into a combination of the two. It's a slow burn. So with every new episode, Naruto is like, whoa, hang on, that guy just achieved sentience. The hell's up with that?
Is this immoral?
Yes.
Are we slavers?
Are we the baddies?
Honestly, it annoys me that the very moment he realizes that the humor gears are gaining sentience, he doesn't shut it all down immediately. Not them, the selling of them. Because then you reach this whole massive conundrum about whether or not humor gears deserve the right to reproduce. Do they, should we make more? Should we limit what we've got? Should we quarantine them? Should we destroy them? There are so many different ways you can go with having accidentally created a new form of life. Look what happened with the Quarians and the Geth. As soon as one of them asked, oh, why am I here? They just immediately tried to destroy them.
This kind of ties in with the original play that mentioned the term robot, Rossum's Universal Robots. They make their own people, and then they turn against them. Then they destroy the means that they created the robots, so that they can't reproduce. And the film ends with mankind mostly extinct and a few remaining humans enslaved by them, for them trying to figure out how they can create more of them again.
Did you ever watch the film 9? Because that had a similar thing as well.
Oh, the Tim Burton one. I've seen tiny clips. It looks cool, but I'd never gotten around to watching it.
It's the kind of thing you only need to really watch once. It basically got this group of 9 homunculi, and they're actual homunculi. It's weird. It's post not World War II, but kind of definitely World War II, where machines were kind of given control, like Skynet style, and then it destroyed everyone. It's post-apocalyptic, and they accidentally turn the factory back on. It starts making more machines. A similar thing, like when you create artificial intelligence, what do you do with it? Do you let it continue? Do you shut down the factories?
Yeah.
again, this comes back to why I'm not too hot on him as a character. That he doesn't immediately I got to the episode where he realizes that they're going sentient. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't immediately take charge of that. Like if I were in charge of a massive company, I know like there are loads of investors and business people,
Stonks.
stonks that are invested in keeping it going. You've got a slave race. You've created for yourself a slave caste. Some of them aren't sentient, but a lot of them are turning sentient. You got to do something. You can't just continue having wacky jokes with your secretary sidekick.
Yeah, they really turn a blind eye to a lot of ethical issues. So there is the slavery side of things. Though it does progress with every other episode, I haven't gone far. I get optimistic that it's trying to do that. So it's like, okay, we've got some sentience in here. I don't know how it ends, but there is one issue so far that hasn't been looked at, which is the major thing. Was there any outrage about robots taking all these jobs? Like, they even mentioned, like, you're at the hospital episode where they have to... Is it the first or second hospital episode?
First.
I'm going to melt your brain with a spoiler, boyo. So after the events of that first one, in the second one, there's a massive pressure to shut down all the human gears in that hospital. And the problem is, then there's basically no one to treat all the patients. And it's like, even if you were to get rid of them, there are now no humans to fill in that role anymore.
That's bleak.
Yeah, also, what about the mass unemployment?
I was about to say, is this series pro-mechanization or anti-mechanization? I can't tell at this point.
It's pro-mechanization and fighting anyone who brings up the ethical issues with a suit of power armor.
I mean, I can respect their choice of problem resolution. I completely disagree with it morally. Like, you sure mechanize some bits, but don't replace humans with androids, you know?
Yeah. One thing I don't quite understand is the vice president. So initially in the first episode, he was supposed to be this rather adept, skilled person, but he's just so inept and clueless as to the actual consequences of anything, and he just wants Aruto out of office. And I'm just like, okay, this just feels completely pointless as an internal threat, because he just seems so goofy. And I don't get why he also has a humor gear, the lady in red. Surely Aruto would just be like, yo, stop helping this guy, he's not really being good at this. Don't we own you?
At the point where I'm at, he's been absent for a few episodes. I actually completely forgot he existed until you mentioned him. Because he hasn't been that big of a presence, and to be honest, I don't disagree with him sometimes. Like, absolutely, I would be livid if I was in his position, and not through just complete unambiguous nepotism, some rando gets put in charge of the company rather than someone who's been working there for presumably years, like him. I mean, obviously he's not a great guy, but I find him a lot more sympathetic than I think I'm meant to.
Mentioning that, why would the original CEO mention the robot apocalypse in his will, not while he was alive, not to warn the company, not to warn people and make sure that lives weren't lost? It's just like, yeah, sod it, let my grandson deal with it. I'm going to party my old age. Izu, help me out of bed. You know, that kind of thing.
Look, let me put it to you this way. You're an old man, right? You got yourself a company. You're making yourself some robots.
Hot robot secretary.
You know you're going to die. Yeah. You know you're going to die, and you know there's going to be a robo-apocalypse, right?
Yep.
Do you, A, pass the book and enjoy your twilight years, or B, try and deal with it? Obviously, you'd just fob it off. You'd pass the book to someone younger than you.
Is this an allegory for the baby boomers? So, this suddenly got deep. Yeah, this is an allegory for baby boomers. They wrecked the economy, they caused environmental damage, and they're passing the buck on to the millennials and Gen Z.
I'm going to take credit for having that idea. That was definitely what I was going for when I had that little tirade. Just completely intentional. I'm a deep, thoughtful human being. I have higher brain functions. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's now Kamen Rider Zuma having to mop up the mess of the previous generation.
Well, we already had Kamen Rider Zuma. That was Mac.
I'd completely forgotten about Mac.
How can you forget about Mac? He's a good boy.
It's been a very long time since I've watched Rider. Wow, I think I might be going senile.
Okay, Boomer.
No, I'm one of them now. I'm the enemy.
Speaking of senility, I had a point and I completely forgot it. Nepotism. Nepotism. I don't know. I'm surprised Aruto took to being president so quickly. I really expected more resistance from him, and this is to his favor. This is to his favor. He did take control, especially early on. He's going around personally assessing humor gears and stuff like that. So I don't hate his character anymore. I'm just annoyed by the gimmick.
Well, he's not doing any grand executive functions, though, is he? He's just going around visiting, saying, yep, that robot's not going to kill us. Then, like 20 minutes later, the robot tries to kill us.
You're absolutely right, actually. He's more of a figurehead than a... Damn it, now I hate him again. He's not actually doing anything.
He's a puppet king. Surely the vice president could have used that to his advantage by being the power behind the throne. He would be the one handling all this while trying to subtly undermine him. Not every other episode like, ha, see, they did that. You must resign now so I can deal with this crap storm.
You're absolutely right. He could have done the whole evil vizier thing. Like, oh, yes, President, you should definitely make this decision, which will be bad for you, but good for me. I'm not evil.
They really could have made the character like that, but they just went for the bumbling fellow. That being said, I do really enjoy the character development.
I can tell that Fua is going to be shown that he's wrong with, disliking robots.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's in the next episode.
I'm not sure if I'm happy about that or not. Oh, come on.
Everything's in the next episode.
Oh. I think it would take longer. Like, dude's got 12 years
it's not
of
it's not like a proper turn of character. It's more giving him an alternate viewpoint, but he's still very sternly, get these robots off our land, they're taking our jobs, they're going to kill our kids, that kind of stuff.
Lest this turn into a whole episode of Zero-One, we're going to wrap this section up. I just want to make one point, though. I haven't seen anything beyond like the first hospital episode. However, I want to get it out there. I don't know anything beyond this point except for what you've told me of the next episode. Aruto is either going to be a cyborg or a really advanced humor gear. I'm calling it now.
I'll probably end up dubbing over... by the point I've gotten this released, we will have found out. And I'll probably dub over, yes, he is. Or, no, he's actually an alien or some rubbish. I do want to get one last thing, though, in for this.
Go for it.
It finally has a strong female supporting rider. Would you say that Valkyrie's a secondary?
Well, I mean, technically she's tertiary, but she shares the secondary spot with Vulcan. However, I'm going to be really pessimistic here. Don't get me wrong, I love Valkyrie. I'm so happy that straight off the bat, like, what is it, like 3-4 episodes in, we've got a female rider. She's going to get sidelined hard. She's going to get sidelined so hard, dude.
It's not that bad,
You know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not so bad now, but we've got, like, what is it? We've got Zero-One, we've got Vulcan, we've got the 2 Metsubo Jinrai riders. We've got 5 so far. I think there's like a 6th that comes on later. Someone's getting sidelined. You know it's going to be the girl.
That's the depressing fate, really. I'm a few more episodes in than you, and it's not too bad. She's doing some good stuff. Her character's got some depth to it. It's all sneaky, and I don't want to spoil it.
She's got some skullduggery going on.
Yeah.
Like, she's meeting with... I think he becomes like another rider later. He's like an antagonist.
Oh, you mean I'm down to guy behind desk?
Not get me... Yes, desk man.
Not Jeff Bezos?
So I'm totally down to clown with her. I'm just very pessimistic about what Toei is going to do with her down the line. We know how Lady Riders go. It doesn't go well. They either die or get sidelined. Rest in peace, Tackle. And yes, she's a Kamen Rider. I will die and kill on this hill.
I will completely understand, but I'm going to be watching you fight that battle from another hill with a big bag of M&Ms and a couple of beers. Watch him go. Look at him defend that fiercely. I'm quite satisfied with what we've discussed with Zero-One. We need to watch a hell of a lot more of it, and that's what I'm probably going to be doing after work. I could probably try and goof it off between a few things, maybe during breaks. That'll be fun. This podcast will ruin my work life. Great. I already had a Kamen Rider Z-Cross Soda figure on my desk at work. I'd keep it in the cabinet.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. Have you just unironically started pronouncing it as Zeke Ross now?
Yes. So I've got Zeke in my little cabinet, and when I'm between support calls or just trying to think of something, I pull him out, and I love playing around with the joints. Mr. Ross is really flexible, and I can make him jump and kick and all that stuff.
Oh, the Soto figures are fantastic. I've got a bunch of them now, and I love them all.
Yeah, you've also got the
They're
Great
just
Leader.
beautiful.
That's not mobile at all.
That's not a figure. He doesn't even have a head
It's
joint.
a bowling pin.
It's fantastic. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I'm so happy I have him. He's the cutest little Grand Wizard.
Well, talking about Rider stuff, I think we should discuss the new one that's on the docket. So let's just preface this by saying we're recording on the 26th of July, so all we've got are 2 images and a name.
Yeah, this stuff has literally just come out, so by the time we upload this, there may very well be more info out, so, I mean, don't at us.
Yeah.
Bruh.
One thing I can see right off the bat, so this is Kamen Rider Saber, yeah?
Yep.
And the first image I saw was the one of the magazine. So you had his face, he looked all edgy and stuff. Then you sent over the picture showing the transformation device and the sword, and I thought, storybooks. This thing uses storybooks to transform.
It's a really weird choice. One of them's called Peter Fantasia.
Oh, Peter Fantasista. I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, what? Okay, so you've
Fantasista,
got the main red one that looks all edgy and stuff, like, Guy Fieri's... Fieri? I'm very bad at Italian names.
Either way, he's going to take us to Flavor Town.
And I'm like, okay, that looks kind of cool. It's books, it's storybooks, and this is a photoshopping opportunity for memers because you're going to put something in. You could put, well, obviously. Oh my god, there's going to be a Harry Potter one. I can see it. It's going to be based on books.
So we've got
fantasy.
His transformation gimmick, not gimmick. The thing itself is called the Seiken Sword Driver.
Oh, okay.
Capital S, capital D.
Hang on.
I hate it.
That's a scabbard.
No. Okay, so he's got a sword. Oh, yes, yeah.
There's a little hole that the sword would go into. So it looks like he puts the stories into the... This is freaky.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works. I mean, does he put the book on first
next to the
and then
Peter
take the sword
Fantasista
out?
one. So it shows it with the sword in the belt.
Right,
Yeah.
so they must... Looks like he's got a slot for 3. Oh my goodness, he's got a bookshelf on his waist.
This just sounds like Gashats with extra steps.
I don't know if I like this or not. I really don't.
I think it's a bit
silly.
silly.
This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. This is my process I go through every time there's a new rider. It's my 5 steps of grief. Oh, I don't know if I like this anymore. Ooh, that looks a bit dodgy. I don't like this. Why can't it be more shower? Oh, actually, it's not too bad. The writing's pretty decent. Oh, hell yeah, I love this rider now. Those are the processes I go through. It happened with Exade, it happened with Build. Hopefully it's going to happen. I mean, it happened very quickly with Build. I was a bit on the... Actually, no, it didn't. I was a little bit iffy about the design, but once I realised it was just, double 2.0, I was down to clown.
Yeah, it's not getting a stronger reaction from you as Exe did, because immediately it was the eyes on that thing, it was the gremlin form. You just were like, nope, you've rejected that in its entirety. This to me just seems like
form.
This seems like a really odd combination of transformation gimmicks. I'm interested to see how it goes, but because we have nothing else to really go on, I can't really offer much input. I'm just thinking, okay, that's unique.
I can't get beyond Peter Fantasista. Of all public domain literature you have to work with. Okay, let's limit it. They're clearly going for a fantasy thing. Of all fantasy public domain literature you're going with, you choose Peter Pan.
I'm calling it now. There's going to be some Harry Potter style thing. There's got to be some sort of reference to that, because that is the modern fantasy novel. Or Lord of the Rings, or something. Well, no, the Lord of the Rings is a little too generic. It's got to be...
Excuse you.
No, well, generic in the sense that
I will not tolerate the besmirching of J.R.R. Tolkien's masterpiece. It's
okay, let's say you turned the Lord of the Rings into one of these transformation devices. What power would it give you? It's got to give you one power.
Sword... magic...
See.
Shut up.
Now, You know what would be great? One based on Dune. Turns you into a sandworm. No, that's got to be one of the enemies.
What's it do? What's it do? Let him teleport or something like that?
Oh my god. Okay. Here's one thing I want. You know how with Monsters of the Week in Kamen Rider stuff, they always have something put in them, so it's like a version of something the rider uses. You got your Gaia memories, you got your switches, all that. I want this to be cursed books or something, and one Monster of the Week to be based on Dune, and so we get this big, horrible Japanese CGI sandworm. I want to see that.
Ooh. Dude, how about a War and Peace form, and he's just got this massive tome attached to his belt, and he's just kind of leaning it lopsided. Like, you're limiting yourself to fairly short novellas here.
Well, again, I don't think 7-year-old Kenny from Osaka would care much for War and Peace or Dune, the little Philistine. But, you know, Peter Pan and fantasy stories, they'll do fine. They'll keep him entertained.
I genuinely don't like Peter Pan at all, and so the thought of one of the main advertised like alternate forms being Peter Pan themed just rankles me a little bit.
Well, it's just going to be one of those secondary things that is mentioned a few times in a couple of episodes. It's not going to be the main form. It's just the example one. It's like, I don't know, Drive. You know how he had that one spiky ability? It was like used a couple times.
Spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just really completely forgot about Funky Spike, didn't they?
There are way too many cars. They went ham with the gimmicks in Drive.
Yeah, the cars are fun. So the little books are called Wonder Ride books. Calling it now, they're going to do an Alice in Wonderland one.
Oh no, I really hope that the bike isn't a book. Like, it happened oh my goodness, it happened in Zero-One.
Bill did it.
The bike was a phone that was shot from space. What was it like in Build again?
It was a phone that flipped over and some bits flipped out, and it grew real big and became a bike. It's pretty much the exact same thing. Oh yeah, I found that incredibly silly. I just want a super bike again.
Yeah, just give us a super bike that we steal from the police.
At least they use... Actually, you know what? They've barely used the bike in Zero-One at this point. Whatever happened to riders riding?
This actually ties in well with a couple notes I made. I don't like that the bike is still tokenistic. It did have a couple of bike chases in it, but you rarely see it in use at all. In Cougar. Look at Cougar. You see them getting around on it.
Oh no, they build that thing up.
Yeah, I'm going to mention, the first two parts of Neo Heisei. You got Double, you got O's. They use the bikes often. They get from place to place. You see them riding the bikes. And you rarely see that with some of the newer stuff. And it really gets on my nerves. It's like, Kamen Rider, come on. Like, okay, what about Vulcan and Valkyrie? They don't even have bikes. What are they riding?
No, they have a van.
They have a van. They're riding in the van.
They're not even the first riders to use a van. Amazon Omega rode around in a van when he was with the extermination guys.
Yeah, but keep in mind this is also a police van, so it's unmarked, and they're abducting protesters when they're not fighting robots.
Oof. At least it's not Kiva, where the bike is non-existent, like it's in one episode and then never turns up again. I'm not asking for like the same bike foo they used in a few episodes of Cougar. You don't have to do that. That's fine, but use it. Show the rider riding from point A to point B, at least.
Yeah, or just show them getting off the bike. They don't even need to use the thing. The bike doesn't even need to be usable. It just is like, okay, he's getting on the bike. Fade out. He's getting off it again. Boy, that was one journey we had. Shame we couldn't afford to film the fight scene we had.
So apparently Saber's kind of default form is called Brave Dragon, and he also uses we already mentioned Peter Pan's sister, but a Jack and the Beanstalk one as well.
Really?
Yeah. What is that? Okay, that's either going to make him giant, part of him giant, or summon beanstalks.
Okay, so it is based on classic fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all public domain stuff, so, I mean, that limits what we can decide what it's going to be. Like, we can probably make some pretty decent assumptions, like, straight off the bat.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of stuff you can do for an action-oriented thing, like, okay, Peter Pan's sister, it's going to be flying, or something like that. It's going to be something you can condense into a power. But what else can you do? I mean, what Brothers Grimm stuff leads to... Oh, okay, maybe Snow White, he gets an axe.
Yeah, but then that's not Snow White. That's the
No, not
woodsman.
Snow White, it's Red Riding Hood. Wow, my...
But even then, that's the woods. How many times do the woodsman come to someone's rescue in these fairy tales?
Remind me, in the old fairy tale, did he know that Red Riding Hood was calling out, or did he just kick down someone's door and axe the first person he sees?
The one I was always told was that he just turned up. Like that's a man just itching for a fight. Dude, that guy was totally gonna kill that old lady.
I want to see what he does in a furry convention. God, wolves are everywhere. Neon blue.
Just
Come on, Axie.
Flashbacks. Oh yeah, no, it's honestly, if it wasn't for the Peter Fantasista one, I'd just assume it was going to be all fairy tales.
I'm eager to see what happens next. I want to see what the secondary riders look like. I want to see what the villains are. I miss villains that didn't look like riders. I miss them in the big rubber suits. I don't like villain riders. They're a fun gimmick every now and then, but when it's just like, okay, one rider team versus another, it's getting old. It kind of died with X-Age with me, and eventually I'll get into build, but in the meantime, Well, you see, people were turned off from it right from the beginning with Ryuki. Apparently there was a massive kind of backlash because people were like, oh, riders shouldn't be fighting riders, and we kind of missed that because we came in much later than Ryuki. But this has been a recurring thing. People don't necessarily like riders fighting riders. I don't mind it in context like Shadow Moon versus Black. I quite liked it in Gaim.
So with Ryuki and Gaim, that's kind of the whole point. But that's not the point in Zero-One. Like the drivers in Gaim are literally called Sengoku drivers, warring states. It implies a degree of infighting between people who should, normally have a lot in common. Ryuki, again, the whole setup was that they were fighting each other. In Zero-One, it just doesn't gel thematically as well. I like old... Man, this is going to... A lot of my opinions are just going to be like, reject modernity, embrace tradition. I like it back in the 70s when you had human... I like human-looking villains. You don't get them at all in Sentai anymore. Remember, like, Professor Bias or Radiget?
Oh, yeah, it looked like a flamboyantly dressed man.
Yes, though, absolutely. Give me a guy just lathered in weird face paint with loads of like feathers or sparkle. I want something like that. I
want a messed up Jeffree Star.
Yeah, no, I want a villain whose face I can see. I want to see them emoting. I like that. Ryu Soldier, I've seen like 3 episodes of Ryu Soldier. And maybe this could be a good segue, because I think, so far at least, the main villain for that at least has his mouth exposed.
I've not seen anything about Ryu Soldier. I've heard that it's going to be the next Power Rangers, though. It's like, yay, dinosaurs again.
And if you believe the rumours, potentially the last Power Rangers.
Remind me, what are the rumours? May as well bring it up now.
Okay, so the rumour is that Hasbro has severed ties, or is in the process of severing ties with Toei. Now, I've seen a lot going on around this, and one of the things I haven't seen is an official press release. So, if one exists by the time this comes out, don't at me. But so far I have not seen that, so it's still very much take it with a pillar of salt, you know? If that's the case, though, Ryu Soldier will be the last Toei used series to become a Power Rangers series, and either they'll just go back and reuse things they already have the rights to, or they'll make original series, which I can't really see them do. This doesn't make sense to me. If Power Rangers is too expensive to continue, they'd just cancel it. They wouldn't sever ties with the company that they're essentially nicking half of their footage from, thus making it cheap. It doesn't gel with me.
I would not see them trying to make their own Power Rangers with blackjack and hookers. It just seems way too expensive to get all of that stunt footage. That would not be a good financial decision
Power Rangers
at all.
Is an exercise in cost cutting. They film it in New Zealand specifically because it is cheaper to film it in New Zealand. If they were to continue the series after severing ties with Toei, they just wouldn't do it. So I'm still kind of optimistic. Again, unless like between now and this release, a press release coming out saying, "Oh yeah, screw Toei, we hate those guys now. We're going to make our own Power Rangers." Like I wouldn't worry about it too much.
It's not going to happen. I'm kind of a bit disappointed, though, if that's the case, because now Hasbro have the rights to Power Rangers. I want to see what they do with all the merchandising. I mean, a lot of the old-school Mighty Morphin stuff, that's still in circulation. That's still being produced, because that's what everyone from all the generations who grew up with it still think of.
Speaking of merch, I've got myself pre-ordered the Lightning Collection Red Ranger helmet and the Power Morpher, so I'm looking forward to that too.
Gonna wear that in the supermarket? It's technically a face covering.
Dude. Yep.
Is that thing even ventilated for wearing? I mean, are you
yes.
just gonna... Really?
Okay, so the White Ranger one, I haven't heard anyone talking about how it's done on the red one, but you know those you know how the face panel, the face plate has like those little triangular bits that look like fangs?
Oh yeah.
The black lines either side are actually little gaps to breathe through.
Well, that's a lot more luxury than the suit actors probably had. just hold your breath, you'll be going in blind, flail about, we'll fix it in post.
Do martial arts and gymnastics, don't breathe, it'll be fine.
You're gonna get tackled.
Yeah, so Ryusoulger is looking good so far. I wouldn't worry about it being the last thing to be adapted into Power Rangers, unless they announced it officially. Again, this is just one website started saying, "Oh yeah, we heard on the grapevine that Power Rangers was going to end. This will get us clicks."
Does seem a little too clickbaity.
Yeah, it does seem rather clickbaity. I wouldn't trust it until it's officially confirmed or denied. But yeah, no, Ryusoulger, it's Zyuranger 2.0. It really is.
I thought Kyoryuger was Zyuranger 3.0.
No. Kyoryuger is more kind of Arbor Ranger 2.0.
Then what the hell was Arbor Ranger?
Arbor Ranger is Arbor Ranger. I miss Arbor Ranger. I want to rewatch that. But yeah, no. So Ryusoulger, it's got a bit of Gingaman to it as well, in that you've got... Okay, so both Gingaman and Ryusoulger start off with a hidden tribe of like people living in the woods, and you have to pass through like a barrier, like an invisible barrier, to visit their hidden Luddite village thing.
Right.
It's exactly... They live in basically the same thing. Like, you could definitely connect like Zyuranger, Gingaman, and Ryusoulger together as some weird kind of interconnected whatever. And they're like these dinosaur clans like they had in Zyuranger, and like they have knights that are represented by different dinosaurs. And also the dinosaur mechs are alive, like all the previous dinosaur ones, especially
because
Zyuranger.
Of course they do.
Yeah, it's very much Zyuranger. They don't form together to create actual god like they do in Zyuranger.
Yeah, I find that a little strange. I don't quite like it when the mech is sentient. I find that a little strange.
I like it when the mech talks and it's sentient. Otherwise, not so much.
I mean, who's doing the piloting?
Yeah, no, it does. So Daijujin in Zyuranger is god, like an actual god, like capital G god, and yet it still needs a team of 5 warriors with attitude to pilot it.
Could God create a teenager with so much attitude that he couldn't get it to pilot him?
Yeah, he's called Satan. There was a whole thing about him having too much attitude.
Take that, theists.
Again, I just want to go back to Daijujin a little bit. What does God need with a pilot?
It was a little strange. I can see why they did their own thing in Power Rangers. It's like, nah, it's fine, we can ignore all that. We've got our Space Witch, we can make her say she's from space, whatever, screw it. We've got giant robot dinosaurs, kids will love that. Boom.
And kids did love that.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, wow, that was one of the most 90s things ever.
Yeah, honestly, neither of us have much to say about Ryusoulger. You haven't watched it. I've barely watched it. It looks okay. One of the main characters is a YouTuber, so I mean that's to its detriment.
Please tell me there's an ego.
I wish. No, she's more of a vlogger type. Honestly, I was getting some mad. Was it Jake or Logan Paul? I was getting some mad such and such Paul vibes because she's YouTubing in the woods. I'm like, oh no, oh no,
Gonna find a dead body.
Oh, not again. We can't do this again.
That sounds interesting. I was briefly Googling Kira Major before we started, and all I can think of, right,
pro
okay,
gamer.
so...
Pro gamer. Yellow Ranger's a pro gamer. I cannot...
Oh.
That's all I know about it, and I can't get past it. He is a pro gamer.
This is View Soldier.
What? No. You said Kira Major.
Oh, this is Kira Major. Oh, wait, the yellow's a pro gamer.
Yeah. No, he's literally... He's like an esports pro gamer. I guess this is our Kira Major segue. Again, all I know is he's a pro gamer. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I hate it. I feel something strong inside of me. It's something violent, and I'm not sure if it's good or bad.
All I know is the gimmick is a combination of gems and vehicles, and I'm thinking, oh, good lordy, a Kamen Rider Wizard cameo would be kind of cool.
Don't ask for this. You know you don't want it.
I want so much from Kamen Rider Wizard, but it will never deliver. That girl's just never gonna give me what I want.
Except for a plain donut.
Except for a plain sugar donut, just in case I need to get obese enough to dodge the draft.
Oh, yeah, no, I've downloaded a lot of Kira Major. I still need to watch it. I was going to watch Your Soldier first. I don't like the transformation trinket, though. It's like a big, chunky watch. I'm glad it's a wrist-mounted thing, because I'm sick of mobile phones.
And guns.
But it just looks really bad.
Oh.
Guns aren't so bad. How many times have we had guns, actually?
Okay, so we had Go Busters.
Go Busters.
Does Campy Space Romp. I cannot remember the name. Q Ranger. Does that count? Because it's wrist-mounted and a gun.
I'd say it doesn't count because they never actually take it off their wrists. I was about to mention the Gold Ranger from Kyoryuger, but then that's more like a wrist-mounted crossbow thing. I haven't seen Kyoryuger in ages. I think his sword turns into like a rifle as well, but then that isn't his transformation thing. Okay, maybe they haven't done guns that often then.
This must sound amazing to the hardcore Sentai crowd who are like, what the hell are these guys thinking?
Most informed?
Do they not know anything? The hell's going on? Obviously they have this changer. These guys are such casuals.
Actually, yeah.
I want a well actually comment.
Yes, please. If that's you, first get bent, second leave us hate. We need engagement, please.
Oh, good lordy, make like a response video calling us out,
please.
Screaming at a webcam, fists,
or a call-out
calling
post.
us filthy casuals. I would love it. It would be amazing.
Please.
We need haters. Send us death threats. That would be amazing.
Yes. Maybe we seem a bit too desperate for it. Maybe if we act above it all, then they'll hate us.
Don't send us death threats. They won't affect us.
Going back to my original point, get bent.
The heck are we talking about?
Kira Major. We don't have anything else to say about Kira Major except for pro gamer. I hope it's good. Probably not.
We'll binge it at some point.
I want to talk about my. It's super good. I really want to talk about it. It's Tokusatsu ga 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 ga.
How many ga 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 gas?
Several.
I
think it's 3. Tokusatsu ga 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 ga. Yeah, 4. I don't know. It's really good though. It's really super good. I need more people to understand how really really good it is.
Ooh, what is it?
Okay, so I have my thing where I'm like, oh, it's technically Tokusatsu. This one technically is not Tokusatsu. The Toku sequences in it are only used to illustrate points and provide like footage. Okay, let me dial it back. Tokusatsu ga 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 ga.
Great googly moogly.
Lady Gaga. It's about a I think she's a 25-year-old office worker in Japan who is a massive Toku geek. She is specifically like their universe's equivalent of Super Sentai because it's not a Toei made show, so they have like stand-ins for Metal Heroes, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, that kind of thing. But they make separate suits for them, and they're really good suits. And so she feels, because of the fact that she is a grown adult woman in a very professional setting that is into a TV show specifically for younger boys, that she has to hide what she's into, and the main conflict of the series is her trying to accept herself, trying to feel better about herself because of her interests. She makes friends. Her mother actually ends up being, I mean, spoilers, you could all see this coming a mile away, is the closest the series gets to a villain. But even then, she's incredibly sympathetic with it because it explains. I mean, again, I'm not going to go too into detail about this because I absolutely want to do a full, proper video on it. Everyone is really sympathetic. Everyone has really solid, logically consistent motivations, and it's a really sweet series. Anyone who has liked something that they maybe are not in the proper demographic to like will enjoy this series. It's got a lot to enjoy. In fact, it's got pretty broad appeal. Like, you can take it as a metaphor for maybe being part of the LGBT community as well. I mean, if you want to, I'm not in the best position to say whether you should or shouldn't. You can. It's something that occurred to me. It's got a lot you can read into it, and it's got a lot of heart to it. I was tearing up in the last few episodes, I've got to say. It's really nice.
I think that's quite good that they've got something that's rather meta toward the adult fan base of Tokusatsu.
It's based on a manga. The manga is still going, I think. The series has ended. It's only, I think 7 episodes, but each episode is an hour or so. It won't take you that long to go through it. It is really, really, really good. If you take anything away from this episode, it's not that I'm a lazy hack. It's that Tokusatsu Ga 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 is really good and you should watch it. Please watch it. It is so nice.
A glowing endorsement there. Right, that's
I have no
impressive.
complaints. I have no complaints.
I just want another Akiba Ranger. That's pretty fun.
Akiba Ranger Season 3, never.
Oh, if only. If only. I mean, we'd have to give it some more time, and I just enjoyed it. It was a nice parody. Maybe it's just explored everything that has been explored, so they can't really do a third one.
Yeah, I think the fact that we want more is good, and the fact that they're not giving us more we should be quite thankful for, because if they do and it sucks, that would be bad, and I would much rather be left wanting than be left wishing they'd never done it.
Looking at you, Newell. Give me my damn Half-Life 3.
It's never going to happen, man.
It will. It will.
No.
They reset the continuity with Alex, so they're, full steam ahead. To hell with the script leaks. We're doing this. Give it a few more years. Fingers crossed the Rona won't get to me.
Another thing we kind of missed out on is the kind of Godzilla releases that have come out in the intervening years. So we got stuff like King of the Monsters, the anime trilogy, and the Criterion collection.
Didn't you buy the Criterion collection?
Yeah, I own it. It's great. But now the Gamera collection is coming out, it really doesn't seem all that hot.
Oh, what's new in that release?
That's not to say it's bad. That's not to say it's bad. It's just... What's the best way to put it? Arrow really bent over backwards to include everything in the Gamera collection. The Godzilla one just kind of includes what you'd expect.
So what came in the Godzilla one? Remind me, because I know it's got the really nice Matt Frank illustrated cover. It's got all the Blu-rays. What else did it come with?
Oh, you're thinking of the Gamera one. Godzilla actually, surprisingly, does not include any Matt Frank at all.
Was that not Matt Frank? Who did the art?
No. Lots of different artists, and none who I can remember off the top of my head. I'm sure they're all very good artists, but I find it rather interesting that all the artwork that's been done in it, that's a lot less stylized and a lot more true to the designs, are from the Japanese artists, and all the Western ones go a bit weird with it. Like, I think Three-Headed Monster has a weird kind of Aztec, or Native American, not Native American, Aztec, Incan, Mayan kind of inspired design. But again, it's the artwork isn't bad. Some of it's really good. It's just I found it a bit too pop arty in the color choices, and I think it's a little bit
the pop art
patronizing.
style. It's reminiscent of the 60s when Godzilla was in its prime in the Showa.
I can see where you're coming from. I feel like it's a little bit patronizing they used it for Godzilla. Maybe I've developed a weird victim complex about it. It's just that I would have hoped they'd give it a bit more. I don't know. At least for the front cover, make it a little bit more in line with the original. Make it a bit more dignified, like other releases, rather than bright colors, big dinosaur kiddie stuff. You know, I mean, I don't hate it. Honestly, I really wish they'd just got Matt Frank in, because Matt Frank can do some good stuff. Again, look at the Gamera collection.
When it comes to Tokusatsu in the West, the Franks are usually the biggest names in it, be it Matt or Jason David.
Yeah, no, Matt Frank has carved out a very nice little niche for himself. I was first. Are we just doing like a Matt Frank appreciation segment now?
Oh, yeah, screw it. I got into him from DeviantArt. I'm like, oh my god, that's some amazing Godzilla fan art. Give me more.
Same here. Yeah, the whole Godzilla Neo thing is what I got into him through.
Excellent artist. Really wonderful renditions that made it seem so cool. Like, it was like little teenage edgelord me, you know, no mates, just like, oh my god, this guy's art is so cool.
Yeah, I'm so glad he's actually got legit work now. He did the IDW comics, a few of them, definitely did a lot of the covers for them, and also Redman.
Oh yeah.
It's weird. I own the first 2 volumes. I need to get the third. Redman is a comic that exists and is weird. It is super weird. I do not know how to describe it.
I think we'll have to do a special on that or something, because you've only told me tiny tidbits, and I really don't mind the direction that goes in, because it's got to be weird, considering the source material.
Man, it's a good thing this whole episode is a tangent, otherwise the tangent alarm would be going nuts.
Yeah, I still need to fix that thing.
Back to Godzilla, though. We've talked a bit about the Criterion Collection. It's good compared to Gamera Collection. It is very bare bones. Gamera has loads of archival stuff. Godzilla has some new stuff. Not as much as you'd hope. It's fine. It looks good. Get it if you can. It's like 150 quid. I think it's like $170.
Wow.
It'll set you back. But the best special feature it has is the Japanese version of King Kong vs. Godzilla. It's included as a special feature. It's not a proper film on it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, I'll rephrase that. It is a proper film, but it is not advertised as one of the collection. It's a special feature on the final disc.
That's really a little weird, because surely it would be part of the collection.
It's the only way they could do it. The only way they could do it is because Universal owns King Kong, and they've reportedly they would only allow the Japanese version of King Kong vs. Godzilla to be included if theirs was the main one, the US re-edit one.
Ooh,
where
sucks.
it keeps cutting to like this news anchor like, Godzilla's brain is about the size of this walnut. But Kong's brain is about the size of my wife. On account of him being a boomer.
Wow. Wife bad, everyone.
Internet bad. I cannot click the book, father.
Oh dear, I love those old school boomer comics.
Oh, they're just... It tickles me in a completely ironic sense. Oh no, I'm an ironic millennial. The boomers were right.
Anyway, back onto Godzilla.
Wasn't there a Power Ranger character called Boomer?
Was there? Probably.
I think so, an SPD.
I'm on Ranger Wiki right now, let me just check. Hope my keyboard sound's coming through loud enough.
Clack, clack, clickety, clack.
I need to get a mechanical one, make it nice and obnoxious.
Obnoxiously loud. Oh wow, we really are on the same page, aren't we?
Oh yeah, we're just the same person sharing a brain. No, there is not a character named Boomer. You are just hallucinating. You're thinking up your own Power Rangers.
No, this is going to annoy me.
There isn't. There is not. Were you not thinking of something similar?
Perhaps. This is going to annoy me now. SPD...
There was Pig, the one that looked like Pigmon from Ultraman. Yeah.
Was that intentional? What was he called?
Oh, it had to be. Anyway. It had to be. It looked like he looked like a warty testicle.
Jesus. No, I think he was a Power Rangers original. So yeah, no, it must have been. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I was half off. Boom.
Boom. Who was Boom?
He was the tech. He was like the tech support assistant. You know that cat lady they have who makes all their junk.
Oh
Who's
god,
literally
why'd
called
you have to
Cat.
bring back the cat lady into my mind? I thought I scrubbed that away.
So he's like her assistant and tester and stuff like that. And he has like a
Ah,
dream sequence where he becomes the Orange Ranger.
okay. Since we were previously on the subject of Godzilla, I want to talk about King of the Monsters a little because you took me to watch it last year, and
Ooh,
holy hell, that was
ooh, ooh.
perfect.
I love it.
Aside from,
Yes.
I've got to complain about some of the cringy characters, like just the writing, like no, but
Oh, you mean
actually,
they're Rick Sanchez, but not
oh
Rick
no, it
Sanchez,
was
who's literally
horrible.
called Rick,
But
and it was
I
confirmed
don't
to be
want that
based
to
off of Rick.
distract me from the experience that I'm about to relay because it was beautiful. I got a bit little teary at times because it was wonderful. It was the kind of thing that little me thought
Yes.
they would have wanted
Yes.
because it's beautiful. It's got scenes with giant monsters doing stuff and they look so pretty and they've got like this really good amount of characterization in them because the CGI is decent.
If I can kind of piggyback on that and kind of contribute, I think more importantly, it's classic Toho monsters this time as well. Seeing Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah
Oh
up
yeah,
there.
Mothra was beautiful.
Mutos are cool, but they've got nothing on Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, they
I
went
love
all
the
in on
Mutos.
this. You can tell they learned from the mistakes of Godzilla 2014 by actually adding more
Actually,
scenes of monsters. And I
no.
think
Actually, I
didn't.
think Godzilla actually has a pretty similar amount of screen time.
Oh
This is
yeah,
what
I was
I'm.
about to mention that.
This is
But this
this is what
time
I've
they
been
put him
saying. It's all
in
about
the
framing.
front. They put him in the front of
It's the
everything rather than
context.
just a blurry thing in the background.
Yeah, Godzilla 2014 sometimes seemed a little bit embarrassed to have Godzilla in it. This time, the first thing you see is Godzilla.
Beautiful.
So good. Yeah, no, we have my one complaint is it's not even the Rick and Morty character. Yes, I will not let this die. He was officially confirmed to have been based on Rick from Rick and Morty.
Oh look, a gonorrhea
Rubber lubber
joke.
dub dub.
Ha
Yes, that's
ha.
what I was
That'll
going
get the
for.
teenagers in.
Yes. I really hate the gonorrhea joke. I'm half tempted to just do a fan edit of that movie, and the only change I'd make is to remove the gonorrhea joke.
Just remove
Because it
that character
really
entirely.
I don't mind. He comes across a lot more sympathetic in the novelization. I've been listening to the audiobook version of King of the Monsters on Audible because I love Godzilla. I love Godzilla so much. I just need more. A lot of the characters seem not a lot different, but just a bit slightly different. So man, I can never remember that guy's name. He's just so unimportant to me. I know I have his name in my
Is he
brain.
absent
He's
in the Chinese version? That's what I need to know. I'd gladly watch the Chinese version. I'd sign with Tencent. I just don't need that character in my damn movie.
he seems a lot more less obnoxious, a bit more sympathetic. He seems a lot more. I mean, I haven't gotten to the gonorrhea bit at all, thankfully.
Maybe it's
And
missing.
I'll block that. No, I hope so. No, actually we're not going to do a full review of King of the Monsters. This is just us gushing. We are going to do a full video on King of the Monsters, and it's just going to be a whole episode of gushing.
Oh yeah, a full video or
Nothing but
maybe
gushing.
podcast episode. We'll find some medium that best suits it.
Either way, we're going to do a much more in depth. This is just us recapping the big things we missed.
This is just fangasming right now.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I mean, watching the movie was just fangasming.
What are your thoughts on Godzilla vs. Kong maybe being the last one in the MonsterVerse?
I'm fine with that.
Hmm.
If it goes out on a high note, I'm totally fine with that. I do not need every Godzilla series to go on forever.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah, that would kind of suck.
I'm very aware of seasonal rot setting in with things. The longer something goes on, the more susceptible it is to being crap, basically. You need
What the hell's
to
happening with Marvel?
reboot. You need to reboot, you need to reset every so often. And if that's taking a hiatus for a few years and making Kamen Rider Cougar when you come back, so be it. Or even if it's just a whole new production staff, you know. Either way, you need a bit of a clean break to keep things fresh. So I'd be fine with the MonsterVerse ending.
I'd still love to see future Godzilla films, though.
Oh yeah, that's not me saying I hope Kong is the last one. I don't want that. I would like it to go on longer. I wouldn't be too cut up about it. If Skull Island was the last one, then I'd be disappointed because we've had our big, great Godzilla movie from them. I'm happy with it as it is. I'd even be happy if King of the Monsters was the last one.
They've shown that they can make
maybe not happy, satisfied.
They've shown that they can make a competent Western Godzilla film, and that's got me satisfied. So, give it maybe another decade or so, we might get another one that's even better, or maybe a flop, but it's fine. We've got this.
Yeah. The anime trilogy, though. Oh, the anime trilogy. Oh, boy.
I've heard that's not too dandy.
Yeah, no, it is not dandy at all. It really isn't. Are you familiar with the Unabomber?
Yes. I think he's part of our mail segment.
Oh, yeah, we've got a package here from a Ted Kaczynski. Let's see what's inside.
Oh, hey, it's the Criterion Collection.
No, he would absolutely love the ending for this. It's very, very primitivist. Technology bad. Godzilla neutral. Death comes to us all. It's
technology
very gloomy.
Bad, eh? Are you the Unaboomer?
So by now, everyone watching this, if you're interested in Godzilla, you've seen it. Everyone's got Netflix. You must have seen it. You know what it's about. It's not good. It's not fun. I don't have a fun time watching it.
The thing. So what is the premise? So inform me, the weird, inexperienced individual.
Okay, so Godzilla's just wrecking stuff on Earth, and humanity decides, you know what? We've got like two other aliens, like two other races of aliens with us now. They're in it too. Let's just pile into a couple of ships and leave. Just find a new world. And they try that for 20 years. It doesn't work. And so they come back to Earth. And because of time dilation, Earth's like 20 bajillion, squillion years in the future now. And it's all different. And Godzilla is just the ruler of Earth now, just completely unambiguously. The environment has re-engineered itself to mimic him. Oh yeah, in this one, Godzilla's like a what's the word? A mineral plant life form thing.
Like an actual plant?
Yes, but a plant with the properties of minerals. They don't describe it very well, and it's not very obvious. It's like a metal plant, kind of.
It's an anime. It doesn't need to make sense.
Yeah, like the whatchamacallit, other animals that have evolved are like offshoots of him. Also, I think he reproduces by budding because he got little mini Godzilla. Because this Godzilla is now 1,000,000 miles high. It's weird. It's really weird. Mothra is technically in it, but she doesn't do anything except psychic stuff, so they don't have to animate her. Toho specified that they didn't want fight scenes between monsters in it, which is why Mechagodzilla is now a city.
That's depressing.
Yeah, the Ghidorah fight is not a fight.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, okay, so do you care about spoilers?
Yeah, I'll figure it out and I'll get angry. I'll make a podcast recording. People will hear me rage.
You will get angry. It's. I don't mind some of the fan servicey bits, like the Exif and the Billo Saludo are just the Exilians and the black hole aliens. Like it's neat because the Exif have more to do with Ghidorah and the Billo Saludo have more to do with Mechagodzilla because they built him. The books, there are like 3 prequel novels. They sound way better than the actual trilogy because it's just like this apocalyptic log of how the Earth went to pot. And it's like, Anguirus 2, Varan 3, and Kamakuras attacked Shanghai, and the Chinese unleashed the Project Hedorah superweapon against them. Gigan is a reconstructed monster they found. Like it's human-made, and it's actually good in this. There's also like Project J, which is just Jaguar.
Oh, man.
The books sound fantastic. I want to read them. I watched Wikizilla have a couple of videos, kind of basically recounting the events that happen in it. So if you can't find like translated versions of the book, just watch that. It sounds way better than the anime trilogy we got.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, shame the anime films weren't really cool.
Well, I'll have to watch it in case I need to get my fix of effeminate-looking men with depression issues, and I'm guessing that's the thing of the main character, right?
What gave it away? It's not so much depression, though. It's more intense psychopathic rage.
See, I'd watch that version of Evangelion. I'd watch a psychopathically angry Shinji.
No, Shinji, get out of the robot, please. Please let Rei do it again, please. You know what? We need that. We need that. I want out of all the Evangelion kind of reboots and remakes, I want the one where Shinji is just psychopathically violent.
A cruel
intentionally,
angel steroids.
not because the Eva took over. Yeah. Actually, this is another thing that I want to bring up. Gridman. Baby Dan, baby Dan.
Now, I think I watched one episode of Gridman with you. All I can remember is computer thing. There's a hero in a computer, and that's yeah. I don't know. I come to think of it, when you show me Toko, I tend to be a little buzzed. I can't tend to remember it.
Or is it because you're really excited that your best chum is with you?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just having a revelation that I might have a problem.
Well, the first step to combating it is to admit it.
Yeah, and then to cram myself with lots of Tokusatsu.
It's the nature's healer.
I thought Mothra was nature's healer. I'll go pray to a
I've
giant
committed
moth
blasphemy.
to kill me.
Yeah, Gridman. We didn't do an episode of Gridman because I hadn't watched it. I think it came out in 2016, I think. I'm talking about specifically SS Gridman.
Isn't the 4 S's at the beginning a reference to the Western adaptation, which is, what was it, Super Samurai Cyber Squad?
Superhuman
Superhuman
Samurai Cyber Squad. Yeah, it is. But it also has a more plot-relevant meaning in the series, which I will not tell you, because you're going to watch it.
Everything's behind a spoiler wall.
Oh, look, I'm happy to spoil pretty much anything else except Gridman, because I found Gridman to be really personally impactful because of the subject matter and the themes of it, and so I need other people to feel the exact same way as me, so I'm going to make you watch it blind. So yeah, no, definitely give Gridman a watch. I'm going to get you here with me. We're going to binge it. We can do it in a day. It's like 12 episodes.
Really?
Yeah, I'll make you watch it. I'll make you love it.
How long are they?
Average anime, like 20 odd minutes.
Okay, was it a limited series on a streaming platform initially?
Not really. It was a mainstream mainline. It was a Trigger anime. It was a mainline anime thing.
Okay.
It's available on Funimation. You could watch it there. I got the DVDs because I like owning physical media. I'll tell you. I'll say this for it though. It takes Evangelion's kind of themes, but does them better.
Okay.
This is the hill I will die on. Gridman is the better Evangelion.
I still want to see a roided
now we're
out
gonna get
Shinji,
hate.
though. Get out of the damn robot, Shinji.
Yes. Oh, I need this so much. Again, Gridman is something that I really want to do a full episode on once you've watched it, so I'll avoid doing more than gushing here. Another thing we should probably mention is Western releases of stuff that has hitherto been unreleased except in Hawaii for some reason. Do you ever notice that? Like Kikaida V3, like they're available in Hawaii but just nowhere else.
I always find that weird how some things are distributed and sold in other countries. It's like, okay, so I know that Gavan was quite big in France when it was aired.
It was renamed Ixor.
Oh, yeah, it was. I think there was a reference to that in the French port of Pokemon Red and Blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they made a reference to it. It's like also in the English versions, when you look at the TV in your house, it mentions Stand By Me. It's about boys on a train track.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. I want to look at. I want to look that up. That'd be cool. Also, if we're talking about Gavan references, though, we can't not bring up Daft Punk.
Oh, definitely. I can see where that influence came from, especially because Gavan was a thing in France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So Shout Factory have been doing streaming things. They've done the original Kamen Rider. They've also done Kuga. They're all like online exclusive, and they've said that they have no plans to do any physical releases of them. So if you live outside of the US, you're out of luck unless you have a VPN.
Ooh.
And
That's
this
a
is a
shame.
bit where
So
we become slick YouTubers and mention that we're sponsored by such and such VPN. No, we're not. Please give us money. We're willing to shill for you.
So let me get things straight. I think I did see Kuga on a streaming service, so Shout Factory did do that, but you can't access it from outside the US, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
It's they do have episode 1 on YouTube though.
That's interesting.
Now, if anyone cares, if anyone's going to watch these and you care about spoilers, it does include the translated Grongi dialogue. So from day one, you'll know what the dealio is.
That's a bit of a shame, really, because you're supposed to be kept guessing with it, but yeah, I don't really mind. I would have preferred it if Shout Factory did this as an experiment, like the time they released Zyuranger. So they were testing the waters, and things seemed to sell well, so then they kept on doing the other Sentai. I'd like that to be there. I mean, there'd be a smaller audience for Rider stuff, but it would still be cool.
Yes, absolutely. I really want them to do physical releases, but like I said, they got no plans for it. I just want a Cougar box set, man. I got all the Super Sentai ones. I gave you my money. What else? You owe me this, Shout Factory. You owe me.
I've spent $8,000 on you. Let me consume more.
Oh, is this how Twitch simps feel?
Yeah,
I gave you
in
money.
this case,
you
we're
owe me
simping
now.
for companies.
Oh no, that's even worse.
Welcome to the cyberpunk dystopia we live in.
Oh god.
Simp for the corporation.
So yeah, in terms of release, we should be happy to get them in the West at all. It just bugs me that it's not. It's kind of US exclusive, really, unless, like I said, you have a VPN, and it's not physical. Like I got myself a region free Blu-ray player just so I could watch like the Mill Creek Ultraman stuff. That's why I prefer physical stuff, because there are ways to work around it. It bugs me. I understand why, because you've got to pay for licensing. I get it. I get it, Shout Factory, but there are more people out there than just American weebs. You got European weebs like us.
Oh yes, us Euro weebs are very, very much left in the dark. The US get all the best releases.
Yes, they do. See, now if the British Empire was still around, we'd be getting all the good stuff.
I don't think we had the Japanese in our grasp, though. I mean, we had
It was only a matter
China
of time.
under our palm with all the opium we were giving them. We had India, but we just couldn't quite get Japan. I don't think we'd be able to squeeze
Well, it's because they wouldn't allow us
good
in.
anime out of them.
They only allowed the Dutch in.
Yeah, that's the problem. We'll have to pretend to be Dutch. I'll get us a pair of clogs, and we'll ask for some Kamen Rider Region 1, Region 2 stuff. Just send it over. I don't care if it's just Dutch subs.
Oh. But it's... I should be happy that we're getting anything at all. I think they're doing like a proper release of the last Heisei Generations movie too, which brings me to another thing. Kamen Rider was actually trending on Twitter.
What caused that?
The Heisei Generation. No, or was it I think it was like the Heisei Week celebration that Bluefin were doing. It was something like that. I'm not sure how I feel about Kamen Rider trending on Western Twitter. You know.
Yeah, there are some things that you like, but you don't really want them going too much into the mainstream lest they... Well, later
mainstream's
products
fine. It's just
their
Twitter.
quality. Oh yeah, true. Twitter's a bit of a dump. Not that I want to be a gatekeeper, it's just like, okay, we got to ease this into the mainstream.
Well, look what happened to Avatar when they put it back on Netflix. You got a bunch of think pieces about how Aang is the real villain. Oh no, Aang. I pronounce it like M. Night Shyamalan did. Oh,
Oh
mercy
no!
me. No,
I
you got a
still
bunch
need
of
to
think
watch that
pieces
one.
about how. Oh, what, the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's one we should watch together. It is something else.
Got to whitewash everything.
No, it's funny because M. Night's Indian.
Oh yeah.
Indian American, but
Do
he
you think that was
it's
his
just
decision or Hollywood's decision?
now allegedly, from what I've read from the guy, anything in the movie that remotely resembles the cartoon was him. He had to apparently he really wanted it. He really wanted to make it like the cartoon. It's a lot of executive interfering that made it so
Oh.
not.
Okay, in that case, we shouldn't really try to speak ill of Mr. Shyamalan.
No, I actually really like M. Night.
Yeah. I mean, we've both watched the What Happened series on YouTube, and we can tell that
Oh yeah.
it's always a lot of the producers just screwing people over.
Yes. 9 times. I mean, in the hierarchy of people you blame, like right at the bottom are the actors. We've learned not to blame actors. Look at Jake Lloyd. Don't do that.
What
And
happened
right
to
at the
Jake Lloyd
top-
again?
Dude's got schizophrenia. He's in a prison now.
Oh, poor guy.
Dude got messed up hard from bullying on the internet, bullying at school. He burned all his Star Wars stuff. Hates George Lucas. When he went off his meds, he beat his mum and went on a high-speed chase down the highway in America. And now he's in prison.
Now this is child acting.
Oh yeah, no, it's bad. Don't bully actors. Same thing happened with well, not same thing, but Jar Jar Binks' actor was struggling with suicide because of it.
No,
Blame
really?
producers. Yeah, he does talks now on how to deal with suicide and depression. So he's doing better.
Does
for
he do it in
himself.
Jar Jar's voice? I'm
Me?
so sorry. I know this is a
that's
really
tasteless.
dark, serious
yes.
thing,
I
but come
shouldn't.
on.
Oh, yeah, I know. No, so
Ahmed
yeah,
Best.
you do not blame actors, blame producers, sometimes directors. Like I absolutely blame George Lucas for Hayden Christensen turning in horrible performances because he can do good stuff. He was really good in Shattered Glass.
The
So, yeah,
film
blame-
industry is a wasteland.
Yeah, that's my soapbox. Don't go after actors. Unless they've done
that
something
does
horrible
happen
like
with some
Kevin
films as
Spacey.
well.
Obviously,
Yeah.
if they've done something horrible, go after them. But if it's just for the lack of quality on the movie, it's not their fault. They didn't write the script.
Apparently, some of the actresses in The Last of Us 2 have been getting death threats. Just because
do
they were
that.
starring in it. It's stupid. You don't go for the actors. What?
They just turned up and read their lines. They didn't write this. At most, they might have ad-libbed here and there, but that wouldn't have had any major impact. Just don't be a horrible person, but be the person that Cougar knows you can be. Yeah.
It's the internet. Everyone thinks they will be a cougar, but no. I'm sorry, but Joe Odagiri is going to be kicking us all in the face.
Anytime someone mentions Cougar, he just has like this little spider sense flashlight. Oh no, someone's remembering it.
Better not be a thirsty housewife. That's one thing that amazes me. It spawned something called the Odagiri effect in Kamen Rider Cougar, because a lot of
Yes.
the viewership wasn't just coming from kids, it was also coming from women. They were just interested in this attractive man.
Thirsty housewives, the best demographic.
And that affected the way they casted the protagonist for so many years.
Honestly, I think it's still going on. When was the last time we saw a less than pretty lead in Kamen Rider? Yeah.
Well, I'd sort of... Well, actually, no, with Yusuke, he pretty boys. Well, in this case, they make them a little closer to end of teenage years, so it would be a little bit weird. Previously, in early Heisei, they would be, mid to late 20s?
Unambiguously adults, basically. That's one thing I miss about older Kamen Rider is that I like my main riders to look like they're at least over 25. I don't like superheroes being younger than me. It makes me feel weird.
I can understand completely. It's a little strange, and also it's like, hang on, this is a teenager. This also with Kamen Rider, it does literally deal with concepts like death, and even Zero-One, you got people with guns, firearms, just they've got assault rifles and pistols, and you're like,
episode 1,
yeah.
a Humage gets just murked.
It's just a little strange, but I think this is mainly because it's from a Western viewpoint.
With a lot of, well, basically anything we say about Tokusatsu, it should be taken with a grain of salt because we are not at all the primary demographic. We're two grown men in the UK watching a kids show or a family show at best and criticizing it for things that it probably didn't even want to do.
It's our destiny. It's what we have to do as heterosexual, white, cisgender men. We have a podcast, and we pretend to be knowledgeable in everything, and we say that we're the voice of the fan base. That's what we have to do.
That reminds me of something. Actually, I'd like to say the lockdown pretty much everywhere else is released, so we're one of the few people who didn't start a podcast during the lockdown. Okay?
I was too busy getting fat.
I think everyone's been getting fat.
It's great. Stay home, get chunky.
It's a bit dystopian, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Don't worry. If the Rona does get to us, we'll be greeted by Billy Harrington at the pearly gates.
I'm coming, Anarchy.
This one's for you. Anyway, this concludes the return of the Spandex Power Armor podcast. This has been a rather generic return to things, but fingers crossed we'll be a lot more focused next time. Because, hey, it's been a long time. Now we'll be able to make proper little discussions, and it's now going to be a fortnightly release.
Because, we need lives too.
Yeah, we just need time, and it is going to be interesting. The downside is that some information may be a little dated, so like how we got all our information on Saber from some magazine snips. When this comes out, you guys will be like, no, there's been 5 different releases now. How are you guys so wrong in everything you do? I'm going to have to show timestamps. But yeah, we're hoping this model will work out, and we're trying to have some more fun with this. And we really want your input. We're hoping to have this on as many places as possible that can host podcasts. And hey, more importantly, if you're listening to this on YouTube as well, please like, comment, and subscribe because we love getting feedback.
Please engage with us. Please. Yeah. We need to grow this thing.
If you want to give us some feedback on the podcast, you can get in touch with us on Twitter, twitter.com/spandexpower, and on Facebook, so it's just facebook.com/spandexpowerarmor. We like to keep things nice and generic here.
Well, look, it's on brand,
Oh yeah, true. Plus we've stolen that name, and anyone else who tries to get it is like, no.
Oh, what? If you want us to be more unique, what do you want? Do you want us to do like a Xbox Live, XX_ dark spandex rose _XX.
That's going to be the fate of a lot of podcasts eventually. All the good names are taken.
Anyway, thank you very, very much for joining us for our triumphant. Is that what this is? Is this how this feels? Return?
Well, it's about as triumphant as it gets, as we've both managed to get the will to pull ourselves out of our pits of misery and just start recording again, talking about the things we enjoy, which is men in skin-tight suits chucking fireworks at each other.
It's a beloved time-honored tradition at this point.
Yes. So I'd love to say goodbye. I'm going to be digging up my old-ass handle Hypnopotamus Rex again. That'll be fun.
And I've been Kamen Ranger. Thanks for joining us. It's nice to be back. All snidiness aside, it is very nice to do this again. We hope you enjoyed as much as we enjoy, making it.
And we hope you listen to the next episode. Have a lovely time.
You better.